All right. So I could say more about Solid 7, but I honestly cannot remember a lot. I just remember the band existed and the band played very good music. And that would have been somewhere in the mid to late 70s. Not too late, no, but somewhere around the 74, 75, 76, those times. Certainly not in the 80s. If the band went to the 80s, I don't recall them in the 80s. In the 80s, I think there was a different band. Vincent, Bim Bim and his band, the Exxon Combo existed. All right, and before the Exxon Combo, we had Solid 7, and before Solid 7, there was the Non-Stoppers with Biscuits, Edison George, and them. There is 3 bands already in Calibishie. But before the Non-Stoppers, we had a band. A jimping band. I remember Babo, Paul and Brian and them, and Kittina and them, Father, and Nick. Babo was the accordionist or the drummer? Bonje. What was Babo? No, Babo used to play the drum, the tabal. And a man called Edo from Woodford Hill would come down and they would be playing, jamming together. I used to see Mr. Benz around them too when they would play in this. I mean, you're talking about really little boy days when I was just walking, just born, creeping, you know. Somewhere around, I was like maybe 5, 6, 7 them times, you know. And I'm witnessing them fellas playing, jamming the jimping music. People like Mr. Simeon, who live on the hill. Them fellas dancing. Cuthbert Joseph. He used to be around to sharp young fella. Sylvester Joseph and so. They used to be around and these guys used to play the jimping. They used to even play jimping for dance. Not any big thing, you know, but in an area and people used to be dancing. Nella, Tebe Mother and them used to dance. Daya was always inebriated. But she used to be, I used to see them. So that was a band in Calibishie too. I'm not sure whether a band existed before them. So it was the jimping band featuring Babu. People like Gino and them used to come down from Woodford Hill to play as well. Right? And then there was the Non-Stoppers with Edison George and his crew. That would have happened somewhere in the jimping band that would have been 60s maybe. Started 60s somewhere there about, or even 40s, 50s. Whenever it started, Alright, and then we had the Non-Stoppers with Edison George and them playing their little music. Then we had Solid 7. So the Non-Stoppers would have been early 70s, late 60s. The Solid 7 would have been mid 70s, mid to late 70s. The Exxon Combo would have been in the 80s, early 80s, early to mid 80s. And then we had the Sand Band with Knapp and Garnett and them. That came around in the 90s. And then we had Hilroy for Gegis and Fifi. Hilroy is a one-man band. I call it the band Munfu, because Hilroy alone doing his thing. So Calibishie had all these bands, like 6 bands that I just called there, including my Hilroy band Munfu. So Calibishie has always been a place of music. I'm not too sure what's going to happen in terms of the future of bands. I hope we get a band in Calibishie again. But we came from this very rich history of powerful musical expressions in Calibishie. And among it all, Solid 7 was our crowning jewel. These guys really played some wonderful music and they have a major reputation. In fact, musicians from Wesley and other parts of the North would always tell me about Solid 7. And I was thinking whether it was a dream that I had about that band. And it wasn't a dream. Because when I checked with Bim Bim, he would tell me, yeah, man. And then he reminded me that his Exxon Combo, and it's true. He told me Sony was part of the Exxon Combo. And I remember Solid 7 rehearsing by Sony place. Bim Bim maybe doesn't remember that, but that's why I remember Solid 7 practicing as well. That's where they practice, Bim Bim. And you told me your Exxon Combo practiced there, but before your Exxon Combo went to Sony place, they were practicing there. That's why I remember Solid 7 practicing. The door was open, and I used to stand up outside with me and the other little boys and watch them hiding behind the flowers. So that's where I believe Solid 7 practice as well. Garrett and them used to come down with the little guitar on their back. Garrett was walking with no shoes. He didn't like shoes at all. I'm telling you, I seen Garrett like, no. And I'm going to tell you about Dordon and the breadfruit tree that he had in his yard. And what fellas like me and Jim Boy and Mary Diff too, used to do to steal breadfruit from that tree, because it was the sweetest breadfruit ever. And Dordon was not a very cheerful giver. But we'll speak about that in the next episode.